Voices of the Void is a pretty unique experience. The only thing I could really compare it to is Signal Simulator, but that's mainly because the game straight up says inspired by Signal Simulator at the very start. Developed by Mr. Dr. Knows, or Eternity Dev, Voices of the Void is an open-world job simulator game where you control a scientist named Dr. Kell, who is sent to a forest valley to scan for otherworldly signals. Throughout the game, Dr. Kell is stalked and harassed by various entities, be it potentially earthbound cryptids, extraterrestrial beings, or their terrible employers who don't label what signal wasn't in the report. God damn it, guys, I only have so many boxes, can you please be more specific? Getting ahead of myself here. Like a lot of others, I first found out about the game through Varg Skeletor's extremely entertaining streams, so I figured I'd take a look at it myself. This isn't really a review, the game isn't finished so I can't talk about the whole experience, but I'll go over what you should expect and why I want to recommend it. It's definitely not a game that will jive with everyone, but it's one I find strangely compelling and unlike anything I've ever played. I'll try to avoid spoiling the more major events, but I may leave in footage of the anomalies that are guaranteed to happen. Also, this is the artist whose work you're going to see in a lot of the framed portraits seen in this video. Yeah, you can import your own custom images into them. It's pretty fun. The player starts the story mode near the map's boundary. You don't start in the base the game largely takes place in. This requires the player to become familiar with a little bit of their surroundings. It's as simple as following the signs, but it's a great way to set the atmosphere and to communicate to the player, hey, you're going to be outside a lot. Better figure out where you're going. That said, the opening hour of this game may put you off from it, which is understandable, just from how complicated the whole process of finding and sending the signals is. It took me a while to figure it out, even after doing the tutorial stage that the game forces you to do first, and also even with the fairly extensive help section in the menu. The whole thing is designed to be a little tedious, like you're doing a video gamified version of a real job. Though it is nice to be able to unlock upgrades to your computer and additional modules that speed up the whole process. You can also drag stuff around in the base to make the whole process more efficient, like putting a drive rack next to the computer or putting the boxes next to the drop-off room. You can even drag your bed into the signal room if you just don't want to walk back to the bedroom every time. Lots of fun little micromanaging and shortcuts like that to expedite the job. But if you sleep too often, you'll start having alien-induced nightmares. Yeah, the real thing to look forward to isn't another day of tedious tasks. It's potentially encountering the game's cryptic entities. What I love about this whole thing is that the game so wonderfully taps into that fear of the unknown, even during the signal finding process. Sometimes you run into signals that contain hidden messages when processed at a higher level. Some of them are actively malicious, but the eeriest ones are vague. I don't know what they mean, and I'm scared. The player is forced to engage with the rest of the world when satellites go down and you have to go out and repair them, or get the server hashes from them. You never know if you'll encounter some funky critter out there during the rounds, though the weird landmarks on the map are usually out of the way of the servers. So you gotta do a little exploring for that. But yeah, that's the gist of the job. You scan for signals, fix satellites, and occasionally something scares the shit out of you. The goofy physics engine somehow plays into the atmosphere too. When you're driving around, you'll sometimes hear something hit the ground. Either this is you running over a pine cone, or a tree dropped it, or it's some cryptid dropping a sack of meat or something. They all make the same noise. You'll never know. All these little noises build into the game's atmosphere, in addition to the sounds of nature that emphasize the isolation.
Brew! Gotcha, scared you.
For the longest time during my playthrough, the only entities I would find were these creepy moving mannequins. They're the only creatures that seem to actively stalk the player for hours on end. I usually get rid of them with the crowbar. And the noises, man. This game makes use of a lot of Source Engine and Valve sound effects. When a save is loaded, it hits you with these Gmod-inspired notifications. You slam something with the crowbar and it makes the same noise as the one in Half-Life. It's all very nostalgic to me, as someone who grew up on those games. It's weirdly comforting and familiar in a game that's largely unfriendly and strange. That said, this game isn't always trying to scare. In fact, there are moments that break the tension. There's a race of invisible aliens who straight up play pranks, placing cardboard cutouts of aliens that aren't in the game while you're not looking, and dragging you out into the wilderness in the middle of a quick sleep. Yeah, dragging the mattress back to base was not fun. Those same aliens seem to like eating shrimp, and they constantly sneak into my base to eat it. It sucks because this is the best and most cost-effective food item in the game. So that's the game's way of combating players only ever buying shrimp, I guess. You can mail order a robot maid named Kerfus.
Meow.
The password to the base is 1111, something the aliens figure out pretty quickly. The game's characters, who are only ever seen in emails, write in this sort of weirdly casual language for a job that's supposed to be professional. It's very goofy, and might take some people out of the atmosphere. I can definitely see that happening. But I also think it's a levity that's needed after experiencing the game's cosmic horrors. If you're going into this expecting to be totally spooked, well, you might be. But then Maxwell the cat could appear and cut the tension like butter. In fairness, you need to activate him through a server before he appears, so that's a goofy element the player has to invoke themselves. From what I've seen of it, its inspiration, Signal Simulator, seems to be more effective with the horror stuff. You know, it doesn't distract with as many memes. But I probably couldn't play that one because it's a bit too scary for me. Call me a goo goo gaga baby all you want. I like it when there's a bit of levity. But yeah, that's honestly as much as I want to say about the game right now without getting into major spoilers. And I think it's worth experiencing as raw as possible. Since it is in an experimental beta phase at the moment, that means a lot of what's here right now might not be permanent. The copyrighted material for sure would need to be altered if this gets a paid release someday. But it's more than playable in the state it's in right now, and enough of a worthwhile experience to leave an impression. There are some minor things I would fix. I don't like how the pause button is the same as exiting the vehicle, which means I found myself getting off of the ATV when I just wanted to check another tab. You gotta put on those brakes, then get off to pause. I could also do without the curtains whatsoever. They just get in the way, and one of them is straight up clipping into a wall so I can't even get it out. I don't know, maybe the aliens put it there. Voices of the Void is a game I normally wouldn't enjoy, but there's just something about how the elements come together that keeps me coming back. This is a slow burn game. It takes a very long time for things to happen in this. But I love how even when you get the hang of its systems, there are still things happening in those woods that I can't even begin to explain. It does an excellent job at preying on the player's fears. I'm always worried about whether I locked all the doors at night, and this game definitely taps into that phobia, with all the weird shit trying to get inside while my character is sleeping. Some are more blunt with their harassment, while others are more sneaky. There are so many secrets and things happening under the hood, there's no way I could cover everything out there even in a spoiler-heavy video. I'd need to look up how to activate all the events, and honestly, this game is best experienced with as little wiki searching as possible. Just let the spooky stuff happen. Deal with it on a case-by-case basis. Just don't download the Red Asteroid. It's a bad idea. You can get Voices of the Void for free on itch.io. Maybe toss the creator a couple bucks or two. It's a lot of work, and some compensation is fair. I'll probably do another video on this game since it gets updated on a bi-monthly basis. Hell, another update might come out in the middle of this vid's production. But I just wanted to share what I've been playing and give it a hearty recommendation. This game has already taken away some time from other video productions, so, might as well do a video on this one. Voices of the Void is really promising. I look forward to whatever horrors and goofs are introduced in the next update. Hey there, here's an update to the video, since this was originally rendered 2 weeks ago. The day this video was supposed to go out, there was a major update, and now there is trash all over the base. So that is one thing that I did not cover in this video that you're going to have to deal with. So yeah, 0 out of 10, worst game ever, too much trash. Holy fuck! Thanks for making it to the end of the video. This is another quickie while I'm working on the Halloween special, which should be out during the October season. It's probably going to be the last video of September too, but we'll see. Here's a shout out to the top patrons, whose continued support is greatly appreciated. Manila Fan, Gazner, Sampai, Golden Made Me an Ultraman Fan, Swoosh McJuice, Navek15, Jacob Hinch, Dude Bro, Griffith J. Hertenstein, Alastair Gilmore, Seamus Kelly, Anonymous Euronymous 1349, Fujoshi Urinal, Driller, JCS, Rhyme and Ruin, Mulan Nguyen, Ultraman Taro vs. Leo, Irrelevant 402, Hey I'm Mooney, Krazak 53, Komen, Queer Kaiju, Chronicler Waba, Alcoholic Alligators, Ryan Santa Cruz, Avak Robot, the Antagonist, Richard Ciavardon, It's God Z, Big Odilo, an Actual Demetrodon, CMG, and Marpzilla. Thank you all very much. Boo!